Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. This one is going to be the Vroom Vroom Wednesday special because it's Wednesday and we're going to have fun. World SuperBike starts, I believe, in less than 24 hours, but I'm in Eastern Standard Time. So I'm excited that it's in Australia or Phillip Island to be exact, since we were talking about knowing, where places are. I'm going to bring the crew in for tonight. It's going to be a fun night because, some people just know what they're doing. Bobby Shakes, welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. Rexy, how you doing, man? What's going on? It's going to be a good one.
Man, I'm
tired.
I'm tired, Shakes. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie.
What? Look, staring at the Ducati? I mean, what are you tired from? What are you tired from? What can you possibly...
It could be that, man, but I feel like what is it? The Price is Right on these shows that you're doing multiple filming in a day.
Listen. This is the violin playing your song, my friend. When you talk to me about editing content, this is it. Every night, 5 a.m. This is me. This is your violin.
So
get off the hamster wheel. I brought a hamster wheel just for you.
So how are you, man? Since it sounds like I can't cry on your shoulders.
Pretty good. Pumped, ready for World Superbike, ready for the season. I am ready. I'm ready for our March thing, possibly.
Okay.
I'm ready for that. Ready for the season. Pretty enthused.
This weekend. We got next weekend coming up before March, though. So,
yeah, I know.
All right.
And then the bike may come out. I got to get a tender, throw the bike on a tender. I have pump gas in the tank, so I have to pump that out because probably my gas tank is all rusty. But I'm enthused and I'm ready to go. And I'm off the sidelines. I am off the sidelines.
I like the fact that you're going to do a rebuild on your bike because it sounds like that's what you're going to be doing because you might not know the condition it's been in since it's been sitting.
Right. There's nothing but water in my gas tank. There's nothing about. And the crazy thing is, I was supposed to put fuel stabilizer in it, and I didn't for 2 years. So we'll see. It's all water. Very hard to combust an engine with water, but we'll see. I'm pumped.
If it was a Honda, it probably would start. But we're gonna keep this thing going.
Yeah.
Going, man. Jordan Long, welcome to the show, man. How you doing tonight?
Oh my goodness, you guys are killing me. Bobby, oh man, he's got jokes for days. As long as he doesn't have sugar in the tank, then we are all right. As long as he doesn't have sugar in the tank, we're good. That's all good. Dude.
I didn't realize we were gonna go there, but you're absolutely right.
Hey, he started it. Dude, this week has been fantastic. World Superbike has been eating me up this whole gosh darn week. I know we're going to dive into it. So yeah. Oh man, dude, I am like, can't you see how pumped I am? Oh,
I can, man. I'm gonna have to give you my address so I can get some of that merch you got. I see you rocking that merch, man. So we definitely gonna have to make something happen. I mean, listen, Vanson is close to Leo Vance. And after the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure that their sales went up. So
they better have big time. If they didn't, they lying.
Right, because there's a lot of people's loving that stuff. But we gotta keep this train going. TJ, man, welcome to the let me see if I got this right. Look at that. The Wednesday night, Vroom Vroom Wednesday. We're going to have to get a DJ here, start playing some dancehall music. I know Shake says he wants to volunteer, but he too busy, I believe, to break out the ones and twos. But we'll see what happens, man. How you doing tonight?
I like dancehall. That's right up my alley. New England up here, man, would feel like we're getting set back. But I'm excited for the weekend because motorcycles is here. But it keeps snowing up here, man. It don't want to go away. I guess we get 6 weeks of extra winter time, maybe. But I know my bikes are getting ready to be serviced, and
Right.
I know I don't have sugar in my gas tank because I keep it locked away, and I'm the only one that can see it. And the water, I haven't seen that water either.
Is that like a lick shot moment? You keep it locked away.
Yeah, I keep it locked away. I know exactly what's going on. So, but yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
excited to get out there. I don't know when the snow's gonna melt because it's like freezing cold up here. So like, I don't know. Hopefully, we
yeah,
might be
man.
getting more snow. But
Yeah, I'm hearing about it and dealing with it from a distance, and even New Hampshire even got more snow and stuff like that. So I don't miss it. I tell you that much. I do not miss it, but it's interesting because the snow for the last few years we've been kind of spoiled. We're not getting a lot of snow, so I gotta assume
right,
there's some people beside themselves up there.
man, there's people crying, just waiting to start the bikes. Just get out there. But about one more month, we'll be ready.
No
So
doubt, man. And speaking of ready, let's bring the gang in and get this train all out the station and on the rails going somewhere. So
what up,
Phillip
fellas?
Island, I guess, is where we're going. Let me ask you guys this, and I'll start with TJ. Who you've been following MotoGP for a while now and stuff like that, and World Superbike as well. What are your thoughts about Phillip Island? For me, it's a bucket list track that I love to do a track day on. Definitely not going to try to race unless it's like go karts or something like that, or a Grom or something small. But what are your thoughts about the Phillip Island track compared to a lot of these MotoGP tracks that you've seen?
I mean, Phillip Island is one of a kind for sure. I mean, it's like a roller coaster. It's right on the water. There's a lot of curves, but there's one thing I've noticed about this track is the way passing can happen. It's very tight. It's more of like a formation, if anything. And if you have a chance to pass, it has to be the time. It has to be right, and usually a certain corner. But
Right.
it's a fun
Unless
track.
you're Alex Lowe.
I think it's a really fun track. Alex Lowe is definitely.
He'll take you on
Uh,
the outside.
yeah. I do know there's a lot of birds that fly on that track too. So, um, so he only had before his head-butted one. So
Yeah,
it's
that's the
it's an
part.
interesting one. So
Yeah, that's the part that's crazy, man. The animals and birds that are on track and sometimes cause a red flag and stuff like that, but just a deterrent more or less. And it's part of racing. It's
yeah,
not. You'll see other sports still. Well, if it's if they at a certain point in the track, they will do a red flag, for sure, and clear it up. But it's very different. Jordan, what are your thoughts on the Phillip Island track? Is it a bucket list track for you, or it's just not fast enough?
Absolutely a bucket list. I mean, I'm gonna mention one name, Casey Stoner Corner. I mean, come
Mm.
on now, really. I mean, just think about that. I wouldn't be doing it on no go kart because I don't think they'll allow a half an hour lap. I'm sorry,
Right.
ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I would love to do not just a track day over there, do a couple track days and learn that line. I've heard. I'm not going to say who I heard it from, but I heard from some really, 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 really fast guys that last corner is actually two corners, actually about two or three corners in
Mhm.
one, and you really have to line that up. And
Right,
imagine
right,
going
yeah.
180 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour, fourth gear. I think that corner is on a super bike, fourth gear. That's going well over 100 miles an hour, and trying to link that together
Right.
is not faint of heart. So definitely a bucket list track of mine. Besides Coda, and Italy. All the tracks in Italy are gorgeous, beautiful. Mugello. Oh my goodness, I can go on and on and on about the tracks in Italy, but Phillip Island is definitely one of my bucket list tracks that um, I wouldn't say cut my left leg off,
Mhm.
but I
You
maybe
give
take
it
a pinky off. You can take a pinky.
I
Take
was
a
gonna
pinky.
say give up your youngest born.
I don't know if she'll allow me to do that because she's over here right about now. So yeah, but you can take a pinky. Take
Yeah,
a pinky.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
definitely lose a pinky and be on that track for a full weekend.
Uh,
Definitely bucket list.
okay,
But I
okay,
do want both
Lorenzo.
ways.
You know what I'm saying?
The Lorenzo corner too. Yep. Jerez.
There's a Miller corner.
I was more talking about him losing a part of his finger, but yes, he probably has a corner named after him too.
Definitely.
Shakes, man. Listen, man. I know I haven't seen the Harley Davidson series go to Phillip Island yet, so I know that track might be kind of too fast for the water boat that you have, but what are your thoughts on Phillip Island, man?
Hey, listen, it's all about the ride. It's all about the ride. 8 hangers, going into the turns, looking off to the ocean, correct myself again, feet kicked out, just thinking.
That's it.
Visor cracked, halfway open, because it's a cigar coming out. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And, yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, that's it, huh? How many laps? Till the cigar goes out.
The cigar goes out, and you know what? This is no. This is real quick. I may have distant family in Australia.
All right.
Hey, let's go.
So that track, honestly, next year it's not going to be a bucket list. I think we're going to ride it. We're going to ride it.
All right, that's what's up. Well,
we're going to ride it next year.
Let's jump into it because testing just finished. 2 days of testing, I believe. Might be more, but I think it was just 2 days of testing. TJ, I mean, do you think that we should pay a lot of attention to testing? I mean, we saw in SuperBike, it looks like Bulaga, did everything the whole weekend. It looks like Alvarez coming into his pace. One BMW, one Kawasaki, and a whole bunch of Ducatis. Are we paying too much attention to testing? Because that's not going to tell us the whole season.
We want to see the improvement on the new rides. So you kind of do pay a little bit more attention to the testing and the results. But I honestly don't think that can tell you who's going to win the championship because, as you know, as the season goes on, a lot can happen. Actually, a lot will happen. But I think we do pay attention a little bit too much to testing, but I think it's a good thing. You want to see what riders are capable of on either a new machine or new parts that they've been put in place. But I think they should lower the amount of time they should be on the bike, especially if it's your top rider. I think that's what you got your test riders for. So I don't know how many laps they're putting out there, but you see there's been some injuries.
Okay. You want the stunt riders and to come in and do their part. You don't want to do all that. You don't want to be Jackie Chan or Tom Cruise. You want. I
mean, you do go out there. And, I mean, you get your feel. But like, how many laps do you really need to figure something out when you got a whole season ahead of you?
Right. I mean, they're paying a test rider, so he might as well go earn his money, right? I get that. And I mean, I think with World Superbike, well, they do a lot of racing over the weekend. The 3 races over the weekend where MotoGP is only 2 right now. So there may be some science to that in the sense that it probably would make sense for them to just cut down on laps because they're doing 3 races a weekend. One is a sprint, but it's still 2 full races. Jordan, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is testing, more just for making sure the parts are moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I think besides, shaking down a couple parts and stuff like that, testing is not going to really determine, like TJ said, it's not going to really determine the outcome of the season, outcome of the championship. They're literally just shaking down a couple little things. Okay, we got this part. Let's try to see if it works. Gives a couple of tenths here and there. And it's a good field marker for the field and maybe for the rider to say, okay, this works better than last year. Let's keep on going in that direction. Or if not, be like, no, this is crap. We're going in the wrong direction. Let's go back. Other than that, I mean, I know TJ, you Rex rides, we all race. So it's kind of like, that's what we literally do. We go out and it's kind of like, is this the right part to send me 2 tenths or quicker down the track? If it doesn't, take it off or let's go find something else that works. That's what testing is. If it does work, all right, cool beans. Can we refine it? If we can't refine it, all right, let's do something else. Let's go somewhere else. And that's literally what it is. So to say that the championship is determined on what place you get on a testing day, no. It's just not realistic. Not realistic at all. But yeah, I mean, it's good to know, okay, they may have a good part. Yamaha may have a new wing set that helps them control the wheelie now. So now they have a little bit more to compete with, even though we're down on motors. They have a little bit more to compete with than the Ducatis and the Kawasaki's. We're never going to mention the BMWs. I mean, that's just another beast right there. But, that does help say, okay, now we're kind of getting a little bit closer than we were last year.
Right. Bobby Shakes, man. I mean,
I think I'm going to have to go against the grain here.
Good Lord.
I mean, you're on the water. Yeah, you're on the water. You have water mist. Could mess up the electronics. Could go against braking efficiency. I think the riders just got to get out there and test the environment. This is more of an environmental track. So I think that it's good to get out there, do some test runs. Because remember now, the water is going to give you different degrees as the wind's blowing off of it, right?
Right.
And the moisture that's in the air that may affect electronics, so your wheelie control may not work.
Listen, Jonathan Ray broke his leg in several places in testing. So yeah.
Yeah, and you're braking efficiency because everything gets a little moist. I mean, I think you got to get out there. Hey, listen, we're paying you a lot of money. You got to do your own. Come on, you got to do your own stunts. You got to get out there. You got to test the bike. Am I saying go crazy? No, but on race day, right? The conditions of the track can be a little bit wetter than the other day, depending on humidity late at night and what's going on. So I think. Come on, we're paying you big money. Get out there and twist.
Okay.
There should be an arrow here, right? There's an arrow right here. Twist. Twist. Put an arrow on here right there. Twist.
Some people do that to remind themselves.
Brother, I think Alicia or one of his brothers. No, Paul. Paul has the arrow and the rabbit and the turtle on there.
No doubt. Exactly. No doubt. Let's talk about the number one plate. It looks like Top Rack is going to be running it this year. We saw Alvaro do it. We saw Bagnaia do it. Should we see it more often in motorcycle racing? Or is it just, not a big deal? What are your thoughts, TJ?
Sorry, guys.
I mean, I see you.
He got nervous.
That's what happens when you
got nervous.
One plate.
It's a lot
shut it down. No, I think we should see it more often, especially for. I mean, like we know who the champion is, but for other viewers coming in, they can see who number one is, but it's hard to keep. So it's like you don't if you don't think you can do back to back, then you're just gonna have to go back to the original number. But I do think we should see it more often. I think the stereotype from back in the day kind of kept it going. I think Pecco kind of changed it up a little bit as far as the MotoGP side, but I don't know. It's good that Top Rack is running it again.
Yeah, I agree. Rossi refused to do it, and some of these other guys. I mean, I think it was Pecco. I mean, before Pecco, was it Stoner? I mean, Stoner.
Yeah. Stoner
was the last person to rock it and stuff like that. Yeah. Is there any psychological effects for other riders, Jordan? Do you think? For when the person next to the line is up and they got their number one plate on and you pull up next to them, is there anything to that?
I'm going to say yes. To answer that question first, to say yes, there is a psychological kind of battle, I guess you want to say, that goes on. Mostly if you're being hired and paid thousands of millions of dollars to beat that person that has a number one plate on there, put it on your bike, then yeah, that's your target to do that and be like, hey, he's done it last year, the year before, whatever the case may be. Now it's my turn. I want it on my bike. So I mean, to have that carrot right there in front of you is definitely a not really a mind game, but definitely a mindset.
Right.
But I wanted to also highlight that, like you said before, Valentino didn't put the number one plate on his bike for the number one fact that he wanted every rider to know, or spectator, not just riders, spectators to know him.
Right.
Not because he was number one champion. They wanted to know who's that 46 that's always in front, always winning races, yada, yada, yada. And if they say, oh, Valentino, he's the best, he's number one, then they know who he is. But if you put a number one plate on him, but oh, that's number 46, and be like, but wait a minute, no, he's number one.
Right.
Well, his number's 46, but he's number one. And he didn't want that. If everybody knows that, that's the main reason why he didn't pick up the number one plate.
Yeah.
He wanted everyone to know, that's my number. I'm keeping that number. Even if I'm world champion, I'm still number 46.
Yeah,
so
and
for me,
Jonathan Ray had the number one plate for 6 years, and I didn't know he was number 65 until he lost it. You know what I mean? Like I you know, and I'm newer to the motorcycle community as far as watching racing and stuff like that. So that, you know, and it's sort of like, you know, football players, you know, we don't know what they look like when their helmets come off, right? Because we generally just see the number on them, and that's where we know some of these players as their number, not necessarily their name and stuff like that. Bobby Shakes, what are your thoughts on that? Is it marketing that's better just to keep your number, or you just want to run it up and just, you know, step on the people them neck?
Well, here's the thing, you know, the number plate thing is like, who wants to be on the cover of Madden, right? It usually comes with an injury.
Right.
Also, if you got the number one plate is nothing but a target, right? Everybody in the paddock, everybody on the grid wants to shoot that number one plate off.
Okay. So, psychological warfare.
It's psychological warfare. Me,
pretty much.
If me, I would always rock the number one plate because I want all the smoke. I want it. I want to see mentally where you are on that grid. Are you tougher than me? Are you mentally stronger than me? Those are two different things. You could be tougher than me, but are you? You see me with the number one plate. I want you to come and get it. Are you going to come and get it? Probably not.
I like that.
Go
ahead.
I like that.
And with that number one plate, right? Because you want to be the top dog. Now we go back to the cover of Madden, right?
Yeah.
It's hard, and you get yourself in trouble. So you got to be careful. It's very mental. It's
very mental.
I mean, he's definitely on to something.
Yeah, I like that.
Come get it.
Yeah, let's talk about we got 8 Ducatis on the grid in World Superbike. Where have we seen that before?
I think in every.
That's what I'm saying. It's too many.
Motor 1, Motor 2, Motor 3, Motor 10, Motor A, B, C, Superbike, no Superbike. Even Harley Davidsons are.
Rocking the guys.
Since we got roll brakes now. It's crazy.
It sounds a little crazy, but is that? I mean, we got 8 Ducatis. 4 riders are really good, finishing in the top, I believe 5. Right. And so 4 rookies and coming in, you know, and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that part of it play out. Are we going to see the Ducati dominance in World Superbike like we saw in MotoGP?
Bobby would love that.
Let's go TJ first.
I think so. I think it's just because just the way Bullock is handling things right now. He's just looking really good, and just the season that he had last year. You got Bautista, still some dominant riders, some great information that can pass down to. I think you said it was rookies, the other 4.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just to have, they got like a whole team right there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like It's a super
Squad.
team. Like it's just a big squad. Like you can look to your left, right, and just ask questions all the time. When you just have one bike or two bikes that is another manufacturer, with not enough teammates. So I
Right,
think
right.
Ducati's gonna look good.
Yeah, I completely agree that they're going to look good. And it's interesting because Bulaga topped all the time charts. But you had the more experienced ride. You have the most experienced riders with Alvaro and Petrucci and Anoni. So, Jordan, I mean, do you feel like Top Rock has a chance? There's only two BMWs this year.
I think there's 3. But I mean, just look at statistically, you've got a murder.
BMW and name Ducati bike for Redding.
Redding, Gerloff.
No, the Gerloff is Kawi.
Oh, Groff's on Cali now.
It's only the factory team in BMW.
Yeah. I keep on forgetting about that. So yeah, it's like I said, only about 2 of them.
Right.
I mean, you look at it statistically that you're going to have more Ducatis probably at the podium more than anybody else. Can Top Rack shake it up? Definitely. Yep. Hands down, he is going to rattle some people's chains. He's going to let some people know, yeah, last year wasn't a fluke. I'm doing it again this year. I mean, that's already on his mindset. That's already on his plate. That's probably on his top to-do list every Monday. After the weekend, he's like, to-do list is to win the championship. To 13 races back to back. I mean, if he could do 14, 15, he would do it. Give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Can anybody else that's the question. Can really anybody else besides Ducati step up to really shake things up a little bit? Because I don't really see it happening. I think a one-off here and there.
Yeah.
But other than that, to really knock off Ducati and be like, nah, we got this, step back, ain't happening.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting because Alvaro has something to prove. Bulaga has something to prove. Petrucci has something to prove, and Anoni. So Bobby Shakes, I know doesn't say Harley Davidson on the side. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you got 2 guys on the satellite team, you got 2 guys on the factory team. But I mean, 3 guys that are in their 30s, I believe. I think all those, Anoni, obviously Alvaro, and then Danilo. I believe they're all over 30. So the only young dude there is Bulaga. And so for those 3 guys, I mean, I think that Alvaro would get another seat, but definitely Anoni and Petrucci has to finish in the top 5 I think, if they're going to keep their seat, because there's a whole bunch of young dudes on them other 4 Ducatis that are looking at them talking about, I'm coming for you, old man. So what do you think is going to happen for Ducati this year? And is it just kind of like, we're just going to give you 8 bikes this year because next year we'll have the new V4R for 26, and then they probably, some of the teams may cut down. And I know Redding is a one-off situation, so it's probably really 7 Ducatis, not the 8.
Like I said, and I want to be consistent, right, Jordan? To the beginning of the show, I want to see Ducati dominance until the rule change, until we have to do this all. This is it. This is the year of the red. BMW does scare me, though. BMW does scare me.
Or is this Top Rack?
I think it's just Top Rack. I think it's just Top Rack.
Yeah, I think Van der Mark is going to be. Van der Mark finished 13th, I believe, on day 2 or 6 on the 16th or something like that. And I know they kept him. They say he's a really good teammate. But Gerloff was. I mean, Gerloff was nice, and so it'll be interesting to see. I know Van der Mark did well towards the end of the season last year and stuff like that, which probably gave him the seat, solidify the seat, or maybe I don't know what's his nationality.
German.
Okay, I'm just saying. So so you say BMW could be a problem, but I think it's probably. I mean, I think the bike is a really good bike, but I don't think they have enough riders.
If I could go really quick. Van der Mark has always been a good teammate.
Yes.
Good teammate.
Yeah.
He has never really been on the tip of the spear. We talked about that last time. Tip of the spear. He's never really been the tip of the spear, but he's always been a good teammate. For that,
Right.
I mean, you're not going to win championships with a good teammate, with somebody who needs to be cutthroat like Petrucci and Bulaga, and who wants to win races. Good teammate, fine, great, and Danny, help block whoever else. But win races, I haven't seen him. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate side. And I know we've been talking about Ducati and BMW like that, Kawasaki a little bit. But who has more to prove, Yamaha or Kawasaki? Let's start with TJ.
I mean, I think Yamaha has more to prove because they've won before, so I think they have more to prove.
Yeah, they stopped the I said they stopped the Jonathan Ray train.
Stopped the
yeah.
So they definitely stopped that run. So,
and I definitely think they have more to prove. Kawasaki is still on their way up. I'm excited to see Gerloff's debut. To see what he can do on the Kawasaki machine. But I do think Yamaha has more to prove at this point.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Jordan?
I think I'm going to go the other way because we know that Yamaha can, if they not just get a good rider, they got to squeeze a little bit more out that motor. We know that, the corner power of the Yamaha has always been superior. Even we know that the Yamahas have always had corner speed, corner power, but they always lacked a little bit in top speed, and that's almost besides the point. They've always been known for that. So yeah, Cowie, I think they're going to have a little bit more to prove because they really haven't been at the tip of the spear. They really haven't been winning race after race after race after race. They've always had a one-off. If something happens, then they happen to slide in there in a podium. Then that's when they jumping up and down. Because I would jump up and down too if I got a podium, and the first 2 or 3 riders crashed out, had a technical difficulty, blew a motor, et cetera, et cetera. I'm really showing my my knowledge back there. But yeah, just like I think they have a lot more to prove than Yamaha.
Got you, Bobby Shakes. What are we saying? I mean, are you just saying?
Say anything?
You got Team Green in the back.
Yamaha, tip of the spear. I'm stealing Jordan's tip of the spear. Honda, tip of the spear. Ducati is proving themselves to be the tip of the spear. Who has the coolest name? Ninja. I mean, come on. Kawasaki, it is time to prove yourself, right? Yamaha could cruise. All the other manufacturers could just cruise. Even Ducati could cruise. Kawasaki has to show up and be dominant. This is it. I mean, this is it. So what's going to happen now if they don't dominate now with the last couple of years of the rule changes and the new development? If you don't gain ground now, then what happens when they hit the reset button?
Right.
I mean,
and that button has already been hit as far as World Superbike is concerned, because BMW and Ducati is definitely starting to put a gap between the Japanese manufacturers.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody remembers a couple of years ago in MotoGP, before they changed the rules 3 or 4 times, Kawasaki literally left MotoGP because of lack of development.
Right.
They had crazy stuff going on that they couldn't either control or they couldn't keep up with the times. And then next thing you know, they're left out in the dust.
Yeah, man, and that's pretty wild. And so, do you think they're having that much trouble that Bimoto had to come in and take on 2 bikes, because there's only one full Cowie bike, and that's Gerloff is on that. The other 2 bikes are just Kawasaki and Ninja.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think they need more bikes out there. I mean, Kawasaki. I'm just looking up the list of how many Yamahas are out there and how many Kawasaki's out there as far as like teammates because like Jordan was saying, if Kawasaki has more to prove, they just need more help. I mean, I didn't know that. That's why they stepped away from MotoGP because of their lack of input. So that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting to see what will happen. I mean, the bikes look good. Alex Lowe feels pretty good on the bike. I mean, I think he was in the top 6, and I think he's a rider that will he pretty much does well at Phillip Islands. I don't know how it's going to be last year. He kind of dropped off a little bit and had a lot of crashes and stuff like that. But I don't know if anyone stood a chance with Top Rock. Well, yeah, it looks like Jordan's still frozen. So we're gonna wait till Jordan gets himself sorted out. Bobby Shakes, what do you think about that bimotor project with the Kawasaki?
Listen, they have to improve. They have to develop something. They have to put something that's powerful on the grid. It's about time. And there's no more excuses for Kawasaki. Absolutely none. I'm not giving you any more excuses. We need a motor. We need a frame. We need riders. I mean, like you said, Lowe's pretty good.
Right.
This is it. I mean, what are we going to do here? Because like you said, right? We will give Yamaha a pass and we'll give Honda a pass and we'll give Japan a pass.
Yeah, they got the most titles. I
mean, but what has Kawasaki done? They've done nothing. And this is the time right now. You need to show up. You need to be dominant. You need to get your engineering together. You need to get your tech together. And you need to deliver a machine that's going to be worth me changing my screen to green to. And I really want to yell and scream.
Right,
my whole life, I've been a Kawi guy, right? It's just a beautiful bike, but they haven't been dominant. They're just not dominant. And who's going to carry the torch for Japan?
Yeah, and that's well. I mean, they were dominant. They were dominant for 6 years with Ray, so we can't say they weren't completely dominant. But I don't know. I'm not going to talk about riders and competition and condition or whatever. But for whatever reason, Jonathan Ray got 6 in a row. So they were there, those riders. So it was their job to try to stop them and get them to try to stop them. So I'll leave it there without talking bad about any rider. The race this weekend at Phillip Island, it's the one and only race where there's going to be a pit stop. What are you guys' thoughts about that, especially where riders are doing 10 laps now when they're saying that the rear tire feels really good? So, what are your thoughts about the pit stop action? Is it really good for motorcycle racing, or it's just something that can just go really bad and cost riders, possibly a win?
I think it's interesting. I actually like it, but I think it depends on certain tracks for sure. But Phillip Islands, I know for sure they're hanging on the left side. I think for damn near the whole track. There's a couple right hand corners, so you do burn through those tires a lot. And for safety reasons, I think it's very important that they can switch up to new rubber. And everyone will have to do it, so you can't kind of like skip out of it. So I think it's pretty cool that they do it at Phillip Islands. They did it last year. I think it was pretty successful. It came down to the end. It was pretty interesting. I do forget who took that victory, but yeah, I don't think it can be possible at every track. I think it takes out a little bit of fun, but depending on how many laps they put in.
Right. I hear you there. What are your thoughts, Bobby Shakes, about that? The pit stops and is it entertaining for World Superbike?
I think it is. I mean, it's who's going to push the limits, right? Who's going to go in first? Who's going to take their time to go in? who's going to push the limits. Like DJ said, it's 7 left turns, 5 right turns. You could be in trouble burning out. You're going to get uneven wear in the tire. I think this is good. This is where talent comes in, and this is where that mental dog comes in, right? Where you're like, all right, I'm feeling a little squishy. Am I going to push it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to push it, or am I going to go in? Right? What am I going to do to win? This is the track that should set the tempo. I'm here to win. I'm going to push it. I know what I'm going into. I know it's all left turns, right? So when I go into the right turn, how are we gonna sandpaper our tire? That's where the talent comes in.
Right.
How are we gonna get a nice even wear, and how are we gonna push it? You gotta push it. This is it, man. This is the track. It's good for the fans though, because a lot of junkies like the pit, right? Like the pit's a big part of racing,
right?
You know, like if you're a nerd like me, I'm a fair weather fan, right? So I just want to see guys go around, round. But if you're into the pit, that's when the technical asset comes in,
right?
Gas in, tire change, wiping the sweat off the helmets, you know,
all that stuff.
No mistakes.
Jordan, I see you back. Yep, the pit stops.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on the pit stop coming up for Phillip Island?
It reminds me, and hopefully the fans who haven't seen it enjoy it, but it reminds me a lot of the TT, not just of the 200, but the TT. And if you've ever watched the TT, besides 36 miles just in one direction, was it 138 turns? I'm not gonna go through all that stuff. But I mean, just having the pit stops there and just being able to do that is just, I love it. I love it. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm hoping to see more of that besides just the 200. And now with World Superbike doing that, I mean, I hope that other club races and national races does more of that so that we can see the endurance level, the fatigue, and the attrition level kind of go up. And then, like Bob was saying before, that's really going to really break who's an alien, who's just sub-level.
Right.
Wow.
If you can do that, yeah, we need to get you up here to the big dog, to the big places, and then elevate the next generation. But if you're just doing a regular old 8 laps, anybody can freaking do that. I can do that, and I'm fat and overweight. But if you put that element into there, then yeah, you're changing the game.
Okay.
That's what's up.
I like that. Jordan's ready to go. He's ready to go.
He's definitely ready to go.
I do like the pit stop though. I do like the pit stop to see who would go in first. You gotta know how much gas you need, and it's a fun time to watch for sure.
Break the monotony.
They should make it should bring some endurance racing out there, or just a little more laps where it allows them to do the pit stop change and not, like you said, like a 20 lap race. I mean, they have to do it here. Phillip Island is proven that a lot of tires burn out and people crashing. So.
Well, they also say the tires getting better from the riders, so we'll see what happens. Before we move on to World SuperSport, I'm gonna go around the group and tell me who's winning this weekend. Race 1, race 2, and the sprint.
Man, let's see. Top Rack is definitely winning one of the races. Not sure which one. I don't want to say it's the sprint, so I'll say Top Rack will be a Saturday guy. Sunday, I think it's more be Ducatis, with probably Buliger winning the sprint and probably winning race 3.
Okay, Jordan.
I like Buliger right now.
I'm liking Buliger too. Last week I talked about him possibly making the first crash. So I do like Buliger, and I don't know if you said SuperSport. Are we still sticking with SuperSport?
No, I'm talking about SuperBike, and then we're gonna go to SuperSport after we get around the circle.
Believe it or not, I think Top Rack, I believe TJ, when they said, I think Top Rack's going to get one of the two races. I'm thinking that Alvaro's going to get the other one. For the sprint, that's where I'm kind of figuring out who's going to grab it, because I've seen Jonathan fight like a dog for it. I've seen what's his name? I can't remember his name right about now. Top of my, there's about 4 or 5 riders.
Close. Petrucci.
Alex Lowe's. Yeah, Alex Lowe's. Alex Lowe's. He fought for it, and he fought well for, like, I think a second place, something like that. So I'm really up in the air with the sprint, because I'm gonna pull it out my butt, and I'm gonna say Alex for the win for the sprint.
Okay. Bobby Shakes.
Gonna go Alex. I agree with everything Jordan said. I'm going with Alex. I mean, why am I green? I mean, I'm not gonna waste electricity.
I don't know why you're green. Tell me, Elf.
I'm green with envy here. I think this is it, and it's a long shot, and we all know it's not gonna happen, right? But we're just talking semantics, and we're talking.
Yeah,
what is that word I'm looking for?
Out the side of your neck.
Yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
Hypothesizing.
Yeah, prophesizing, right? Yeah. I'm just gonna go carry green. We all know it's gonna be Ducati weekend, BMW second, but this is a fun show. We got to break the monotony, right? With the status quo.
You guys,
let's go, Mr. Lowe.
All right. So we're just gonna push some disinformation out because you just don't want to agree with the facts.
Who knows? Scott Redding may surprise all of us. Who knows? Scott Redding may come out of nowhere and be like, what the heck?
The first thing in racing is you have to show up. Second thing is you have to finish. So
here we go.
Anything can happen in between that.
Yes, sir.
Now,
yes, sir.
All you guys out there, take your life savings and put it on Cowie Green this weekend. Let's go.
About that.
I mean, we already know the answer. We know the answer. Let's have a little fun with it, right?
That's not fun.
There's 8 Ducatis out there, man. I can't risk that.
There's 8 Ducatis.
You have fun with it, right?
Listen, somebody's come.
Don't be a follower, TJ. Cowie Green.
Somebody's coming home with a nosebleed, and you can't send out 3 Cowies to go fight against 8 Ducatis.
Hey, listen, it's a knife fight in the phone booth, but this is why people love this show, because we're crazy. A knife fight in the phone booth. What do you want from me, Cowie Green? Let's go.
That's a fast phone booth, man.
Yeah, it's a very small phone booth.
Very small.
Very small phone booth.
And call girl off and see if he can pull out magic.
Oh man, listen,
Ooh,
I'm rooting for
Come on, Garrett.
I'm rooting for him.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I think we all are. I mean, not being from Texas or nothing like that. Like I said, I've seen Garrett come up in the ranks, running with Jake the Snake and learning from Josh Hayes and stuff. So, I mean, I've seen him come up, and just to see him do what he's done at such a high level at such a young age, I guess you want to call it. You know, I'm definitely, I think we're all rooting for him. We just can't wait for him to get that final little he needs to get past the top 8, top 10 that he's always been in, and just really just get up front.
He's a Ducati. I think if he was on a Ducati, he would be up there. And,
really?
I think so. And I give him a lot of credit because I'm pretty sure he can come back to Motor America anytime. You know what I mean? And
we know he can. So let me ask you a question. So you're talking about if he was on a Ducati. So now you're saying it's the bike, not the rider.
Drum roll.
Well, in the case of the best bike on the grid, and I think I don't know if the BMW was the best bike on the grid last year. I think Top Rock just wrote it like it was the best bike on the grid, but it's pretty safe to say that the Ducati is the best bike on the grid. And yeah, I think so. I think the things that Gerloff struggled with last year, and I'm going out on a limb because I don't remember exactly, but I think it was more tire issues towards the second. But he was quicker in the second half of the race than the first half. Season and the race in general. Yeah. Like he was always finishing up, in positions by the end of the season. So I think if he had a different bike. And he wasn't the only one that struggled. Redden struggled. Vandermark struggled as well. I think when Toprak started winning, Vandermark found something and was able to get up there and got some finishes. But he also kind of petered out towards the end a little bit as well. Although I think the last round was he on the podium. I forget, but Vandermark. But yeah, I do believe if Gerloff was on a Ducati and got the Ducati support, because over the last 4 years, Ducati's proven that they know how to win consistently.
Absolutely, 20 years.
So it's just kind of like if he got a Ducati seat, I think he would finish. He's already finishing top 3, top 6, top 7. So you know what I mean, or crashing out. So I think so, and just because I don't want to knock on these other guys that were over in the big classes and came back to the U.S. But I really appreciate Joe Roberts sticking with it. And obviously, I don't know the background of what it takes to stay and what its cost is to stay, because you have to give up something. But as a naturalized American, I want to see America win.
You had to put that in there. He's a naturalized American. You had to put that in there.
Well, I got the colors back here, man. I can't. They're gonna be like, what? I'm confused. I'm not confused.
His red, white, and blue is backed by black, green, and red.
Exactly.
Which one are you?
Naturalized American.
I know which one I am.
Nerve of this guy.
No, I mean, if it comes down to that, then yeah, we just need to find the right machine for every rider. And that's where it comes down to. I know for a fact that even with Motor America, and I know the guys over in Europe, they're still having issues with electronics with the BMW. Right. Not to say it was bad, but like you said, that thing had so much horsepower that they couldn't keep tires underneath it. So they literally was like dying it down too much to where it's like, I don't have enough power and enough drive out of the corners, in mid-corner, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, now I have too much. Now I'm spinning up. And It was never a happy medium for them. So it was a pain in the butt to find that narrow little thing they need to make it happy. And like I said,
Toprak
just
finished right through everything.
He rode it like he was on roller skates. He slid around everywhere. He didn't try to. I don't want to say what the traditional riding skill or way to ride the BMW should be, but he rode the BMW like he rode the Yamaha, and that dude he used the rear to turn the bike so much more, and he has such a feel for that. For in general, because it seemed like it doesn't matter, because he won it the first year on a bike like Rossi, going to Yamaha after winning it with Honda.
But if you notice that even when he was driving, mostly mid-corner, he wasn't stepping it out. The bike wasn't stepping out like everybody else. He was able to push it through and, like I said, make it just on rails.
Yeah.
Who was able to do that besides Casey Stoner on a Ducati and him on a BMW?
It's been a while
that's why we know Top Rock was something good.
The early GP bikes, maybe when they just slide them around after the 500cc bike.
500, yeah, the 500, yeah. So I mean, everybody's doing that with the freaking Honda.
Yeah. So I guess he is. So it'll be interesting to see. But let's jump into World SuperSport and let's talk about that, because we got a lot of new riders coming up. We got Cannon Shu on a Yamaha now, so we can't blame Kawi for whatever's going on with him. We got Ronaldo coming back down from World Superbike, and I feel like he's not necessarily the dark horse, but like, I make the assumption that you're on a faster bike, you're on a less faster bike, you're just everything is slower, right? To me, and for me, jumping on my R6 to go into my RC390, or going from my 1198 to the R6. Like when I jump on my R6 after 1198, it feels slow. So I like. It's one of those things where, like, I think Ronaldo is the dark horse. But let me hear you guys' thoughts on World Supersport. Who's we got MV Augusta that's up there. We got the Ducati. We got 4 Ducatis in Supersport. We I think we have 4 Yamahas as well. R9. So it's the first year for them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happened with that. I wish Suzuki was in Supersport and stuff like that, but that's a whole different ball game. You got the Triumph. So we really like. You have 4 manufacturers in Supersport that's competitive: the Ducati, the MV, the Yamaha, and the Triumph. So what do you guys thought? Let's go with TJ on the Supersport class. Any riders that stand out to you, and which manufacturer you think got the best shot?
So yeah, I really don't. I've watched the Supersport as detailed as the other guys, but for sure this year is going to be a good one. Just knowing all the differences, like you said, the R9 is out there, so that's one manufacturer, one bike that I want to see run. But like you said, what stands out to me is Rinaldi. Another name that stands out to me is Anna Carrasco.
Okay.
So it's gonna be an interesting one. Just seeing like you said, the CBR 600. We got the R9. We have the Panigale V2. We have there's a 636 out there. There's just so many bikes out there. What else we got? And there's the 800, the Kimoda. MV Augusta. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one out there. So, but those 2 names definitely jump out to me. Anna Carrasco, after seeing her run in the women's league,
WCR,
and, the WCR, and she's a really good rider, as we know. And then, like you said, the dark horse Rinaldi going down into Supersport. So, want to see how he can manage to stay up top if he can.
All right, Jordan, man. I mean, we heard TJ's list. How about Lucas Myers, and we got German Massia coming from Moto 2. We got a few guys coming from Kaita Tobe coming from Moto 2. It looks like a stacked class. Antonelli, I think these guys were in Moto 2 at one point. Then you got the old heads like DeRosa. You got Marshall Schroeder that came over. He was on MV for a little bit, and now he's on a Ducati this year. What are your thoughts on the Moto 2? On the Supersport? It's different names, same kind of bike, pretty much.
I was just about to say that it is literally like a Moto 2 on a smaller. I wouldn't even call it a smaller bike.
Different chassis.
Yeah. I mean, you put what the Moto 2 had the Kalex chassis.
A 765 Triumph Triple, and they're running the 765 Triumph Triple in Supersport too.
I mean, so if you really look at it, it's literally I would want to look at it as a manufacturer race, not really a rider's race, because like I said, half the field is Moto 2. Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, who from Moto 2 couldn't get a ride or couldn't afford whatever. I'm not gonna get to all that stuff. And they decided, okay, let's jump on this manufacturer ride here and let's go race. Let's continue our racing program. And I think that's literally what it did not say dumbed down to. That's really what it comes down to. It's like you've got all these guys over here, very little from British Supersport, not even the World Superbike. You got a couple guys from World Superbike and a couple guys from MotoGP, and just coming down is just kind of like, they didn't have a seat for me here. You have a seat for me here. All right, let's go racing. Yeah. So I mean, it's literally going to be a manufacturer's battle because everybody else has been battling with each other for the past 3-4 years. Right. So I want to see MV Augusta come back and really start, not say dominating, but really, because they've got a good pedigree, but they've never had a lot of good, solid riders. push them to the next level.
Right.
I would love to see them. They've always made beautiful bikes, just like Ducati. People thought the MV Agustas was Ducatis, and it's kind of like, no, it's not. So just to differentiate them and really have them stand out, Ducati and MV, I mean, that'll think of the a really good look for the Italian companies. But like I said, that's just my little take.
Love to see a pro year back in the mix. I ain't gonna lie. Bobby Shakes, who has it harder? The Moto2 guys, or shouldn't say harder. Who's more hungry? The Moto2 guys. We're not sure why. I'm not sure why they left Moto2. But there's a gang of them that moved over. Or the SuperSport guys that maybe came from the US, that maybe came from BSB, maybe came from the Australian leagues and stuff like that. Who's more hungry? I look at that as like a demotion. If you're in Moto2 and you go to World Superbike, I look at that as a demotion. And I could be wrong, but that's just how I look at it. And I think a lot of the World Superbike and SuperSport guys, they want to get to MotoGP if they could. They want that's where everybody wants to go. And so who you think is going to be more hungry to show that they're the best rider in the SuperSport class?
Well, I'm kind of mad that you just glossed over my triumph, and I didn't get a chance to use my English language here.
My bad.
I'll keep it moving. Obviously, it's the moto guys, right? The moto guys, they try to get to the next level, right? Right, but they can't. So I would think that they're the ones that's the most hungry because, like you said, it's a demotion, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. I'm pretty upset I didn't get to camp on my triumph guys, my triple guys, but it's all right.
Well,
I'm not afraid of ice like you are when you said that you're American citizen. That's fine.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Listen, it's against the law for y'all Brits to be afraid.
But to stay on topic, I would say, like you said, Moto2 is definitely.
Right.
That's like AAA, right?
Yeah.
You're in the majors, then you go to AAA.
Right. So, all right. So, do you think these guys are walking around like I shouldn't be here, I don't belong here, and maybe not put the same energy? Because we've seen a few. Baltazar, I think Baltazari. We've seen him kind of fizzle out. We've seen some other riders. The first, I would say, group of guys that started coming over because we really started. To me, I started seeing it like 3 years ago. So there's some guys that have kind of lost their way, and I don't know why. That's kind of why I'm asking that. Is it where the other guys that are coming up that they may still believe that they can get to Moto2 or MotoGP.
I mean, like you said, it's tough, right? When you're here and you drop, like you said, where's your mindset?
Yeah.
Do I belong with the big dogs? Well, you were here. You are a big dog, right? It's not like you're over here trying to get the moto to go to GP, right?
Yeah,
you're here,
yeah.
Right? So you got to get your stinking mind right, and you got to get to that next level. So it's obviously those guys, and we're not. I'm not like we're not going to shoot fires at anybody else, but if you're here, I meant to say, and you drop here, why can't you get here again? Why?
I don't know.
What's the problem?
Good question.
Because I don't think the league is that forgiving. I don't think I've seen to this date a rider comes over and then goes back. It's when they're out. When you out the family circle, you out.
The circle of trust is
the best part of the season.
Trust is very, very little. It's very little small. Once you're out, and there's no way you could get back in. I don't care how many China teacups you bring to the party. You're out.
It's the
But
best part of the season. I'm gonna say this is the best part of the season where everyone has a clean slate. Everyone's super happy to get on the bike. Race one. I think it takes third round, fourth round for something to go wrong with a team or a teammate, and then I think the pouch that we don't see, and this season just slips away. So I don't know. We'll see. and see if everyone can fight tough throughout the whole year, make a good season.
Okay. All right.
I got something real quick. You said something that you don't remember, and correct me if I'm wrong. I've got some old heads around here. I can only remember one name that went from MotoGP back down and back up.
Okay, let's hear it.
McGuinness.
Wow, where did you pull that name out?
Oh,
Who, McGuinness?
McGuinness. McWilliams. Pardon me, McWilliams, not McGuinness. McWilliams. McWilliams. If I remember, he was racing in the Yamaha garage, got injured, bumped down, got healed up. Then we went to Then we went from two-stroke to four-stroke.
4 strokes.
He got back up. He didn't win a race, but he did a satellite run. He did like a you know what I'm talking about. He did
right. Jeremy McWilliams.
Jeremy Williams. And he went back to MotoGP for, I think, like 1 or 2 races. He didn't finish the season, but he got injured and came back. That's the only person I think that actually got demoted and came back.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen that. Like,
what about Petrucci?
Like,
what about
Schroeder
Petrucci?
has.
Petrucci never got back. He went to MotoGP. Now he's in World Superbike.
Yeah, but he rode for Suzuki year before last, and I think he rode for Ducati. I think he's gone back and done some rides after he had left MotoGP.
I think he did a fill-in.
Wow. Yeah. So he's filled in, but that's what. Yeah. So that. Well, I mean, I guess it does count because he did go back. So, but I mean, like, go and stay is really what I meant. Then
he had a seat because Jeremy Williams had a seat. They actually gave him a seat.
Yeah, and Iko Lukuono, these guys have gone and rode for Honda and stuff like that to fill in for injury riders and stuff like that. That's pretty impressive. Because again, we don't normally in this current era we don't see that they don't get a chance, and it's very hard these days. It seems like even as a World Superbike rider to get into MotoGP. We really haven't seen that since Carl Crutchlow.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten to Moto 2. Yep. I mean, I guess you would say no, because Alex Lowe's he was in. Yeah, so Sam Lowe was in. He went to MotoGP, but he was in.
He was just he was just like a 1-seat or something like that. He didn't get a full ride.
Yeah, no, he had a full. Alex Lowe's had a full. Sam Lowe's had a full ride for a year on the Aprilia, and then got pushed back down. He went back to Moto 2.
I thought he got that seat because it was an injury from somebody, or it got vacated by injury.
I'm not. I think he got a good. No, I think he got a year out of that. Okay. I think I think when nobody wanted it after Redden left, I think nobody wanted it, and I think Alex got it, and then not Alex, Sam. I keep saying that.
Sam, yeah.
Darren Bender will go
back. They're twins. What do you expect? They're twins. What do you expect? I mean, they had the same mole on their freaking cheek. So how can you tell a difference?
Exactly. Which is unfortunate
Darren Bender got demoted?
Say again?
I was gonna say, you think Darren Bender got demoted when he went from Moto 2 to MotoGP back to Moto 2?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Think he got a shot to go back?
So. I don't think so.
You think he got a shot to go back?
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't. It's tough, right? Because when they ask you, I mean,
there's a lot of
you have to go because we see what happens when you don't go. When you look at some of these riders, I don't know who didn't go or who had a chance to go, but we could speculate that Joe Roberts had an opportunity to go and didn't want to go at the time when their Aprilia was bad, and we can and if that's true. He's a very skilled rider that he should have an opportunity to go back, and he hasn't gone yet. So I think they hold it against you when you don't go.
I think Joe. I'm not saying he lost his seat for anything, but he was very, very lucky to switch from
American team to
the American team.
Altran. Was it Altran?
And Altran. I mean, he was super duper lucky. because he got that podium and not the podium. He got the podium and the pole, which everybody was cheering him on for. And then after that, he kind of fell back into his regular self mid-pack somewhere. And it's kind of like, okay, what happened to you, Joe? It seemed like he was a one-hit wonder that everyone was kind of like, okay, Joe is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. So when he got the Altran ride, was kind of like, okay, let's see you do something with it. And then he, kind of did the same thing all over again, almost like a one-hit wonder. It was kind of like, okay, we know what he's got. Okay. And
I don't know if that's fair to say one hit, man, because those guys are like a second and a half difference in time.
Well, we know that. We had that conversation before. Like the top 20 are like literally within that 1 second. Within that 1 second.
Yeah, so I won't say one hit wonder, but to me, I think that was good for him because I think going to the Italian team took him to a different level.
He needed it.
And I think this past year, if he didn't crash and break his collarbone, I think he would have had a different. I don't know if he would have won the series, but he would have finished a lot better in the series. And so if he can start the season like he started last year, I think he's going to be fine. So, and sometimes you just need that because you just need that challenge. You know what I mean? Sometimes the team isn't good enough for the rider. And then so you're at the mercy of that as a rider who's talented. And if you're Acosta, then everybody wants you. But if they're not sure what you're going to become, it's, I don't know how they choose, right? Because if you hear the Petronas guys tell it, they saw Quartararo in one race and they couldn't find anybody else. And it was just like, how about this guy? So I don't know if I want to be picked like that. and he got a world title, right? So at the end of the day, the fairy tale worked out, or the Cinderella story worked out for him. But that's not, you want to be everybody wants to be a Pedro Acosta.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, if you want somebody to team up with or teammate or just battle it out and be like, hey, let's pick this guy. Yeah, I would like to be that guy. I mean, that shows that one, you can at least ride with the big dogs and ride with the aliens and be able to help them tune something in or tune something out for whatever that reason is. So it'd be like, yeah, dude, I'd love to be a test rider for whoever it is. Please look at me. I'd love to do that. So, I mean, not to say it's a bad thing, but definitely you want to be tip of the spear, or at least acquainted with either one of them. Some people aren't.
Yeah, no, and we're gonna wrap this up. Let's shout out the sponsors, man.
PJ, you're new. Come on.
Got to shout out, my local shop, J&G Performance. Any type of bike you have, they can help service it, put it back together. They've helped me for years. Official Vortex. If you need some chain and sprockets, get some discounts through Official Vortex. Hideaway RV Rentals, which is you can get RV sent to the track and have a good night's sleep, so you don't have to get a hotel. And then Woodcraft Technologies for all the support and everything he's done for me at the track.
Jordan.
Oh, I got a lot of sponsors, man. I got a lot of love to give. I want to give all my sponsors some love. Here goes some of them. Bazzaz for your electronics, for any bike that you own. Doesn't matter if it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels. Chicken Hawk Racing, keep those tires warm on 2 wheels or 4 wheels. Cycle Gear Racing, make sure you get all your quality helmet gear or anything you ride on the street from Cycle Gear. Check out cyclegear.com. Don't want to forget about Race Tech Suspension. Man. Always want to take care of your suspension because they'll take care of you. Vortex Racing. Make sure you get your chain sprockets and any type of levers that you need. Vortex will take care of you. Leo Vinci Exhaust. They're the one of the best in the world. And don't forget about checking out your local racetrack and your local riders here in the USA at motoramerica.com. You know where to get me at? Right here, baby. JL Unlimited. There for you, baby.
He needs an air horn.
That's a whole commercial.
I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped.
Here we go.
I love, man.
Here we go.
Mr. Shakes.
Well, you can find me on Shakes is Live, shakesislive.com. You can always go to Milk and Cookies for your exotic snacks. Promo code Bobby Shakes. And I have a new venture that's coming up. I've been picked to play this sound.
Yeah. When I talk about Polish, that's how colder than the winter in Poland.
Yes, I'm the newest selector on King Midas.
Hello, King Midas, you're Polish. You're no power. King man, get that right. You know it already, right?
We might have a proper dub plate, Bobby.
You know what I'm saying?
Proper. You are
He
family.
went from English to Jamaican to natural English. Holy cow.
Yeah,
Right?
you are family and all legally. So, but so enough it dead, as them say. Go to HY. Well, it's not HY Boston anymore. Go to B4evaKool.com and get connected with all the shows, whether you're listening on Amazon, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Radio, or YouTube, or wherever you want to listen. Definitely go to B4evaKool.com. B4evaKool, however you want to spell it, you'll get to the website. Shout out to Freedom Cycles. I mentioned the show B4evaKool at Freedom Cycles, and you will get some discounts and get hooked up. And I think those are my sponsors at the moment. Oh, one more, Workbench Technology for all your IT needs, remote, Azure. If you need to buy devices, network setups, you name it. Go to Workbench Tech and get squared away. My name is Rex 45.